Hello friends, today we're going to be taking a look at a septic system from 1997. I have not been to this property before, so this will be my first time seeing this system, just like it'll be yours. And I want to take you with me as we go ahead and see what are we working with, is everything playing nice, and what might need to be fixed. So let's get into it. The very first thing we need to do is we need to look at the county records, which we're going to do in a second. And then we need to walk outside and we need to see what kind of system are we working with. Are we working with something that's in pretty good shape? Is it big? Is it small? Let's go look at these records and I'll see you in a few seconds. All right, so here's what we have for the records. So we can see that we have our house here, tank there, and from the tank, we're gonna go to a distribution box with basically one trench going to the left and one going to the right. So we should see that we have a trench with these dimensions, right? This is gonna be a good view of what a septic field will look like, where you have your stone at the bottom. This will just be normal soil. This circle will be the perforated pipe, and basically this is just gonna be the width and the height of everything. So we can see that these are gonna be all of our requirements for the system, right? So we're gonna have to have all of our trenches. We're gonna have to have the tank be a 1,250 gallon size tank. So hopefully when we go outside, we should see this exact configuration in the ground. So we've looked at the records and we saw that there should be a clean out by the house, which there is, right over by the air conditioning units. We've got our tank with a PVC clean out, one of these little fellows. Not a huge fan of the recessed lids, but you know, it'll do what it needs to do. The reason I don't like these is, as you can see, it's all chipped up. These things always get hit by mowers and they're just a royal pain to get off. I usually don't like these that much, but if you have one, not the end of the world. We see that somebody's dug something at some point recently in the rear of the tank. So we're gonna see if we can figure out what happened over there. And somewhere over yonder should be our drain fields. So let's go ahead, get these lids open, see what we're working with, and then figure out if everything's playing nice over there. Okie dokie, so got that lid open. We saw that somebody had dug this up in the past because all the grass is dead and the soil is super, super soft. Usually when that happens, I expect to see a new baffle, because most commonly for these kind of houses, if somebody's dug it up at some point recently, especially on the rear of the tank, it's almost always a baffle. It's possible for there to be a clog. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna toss this camera through that back line, and we're gonna see where does it go and what's that pipe look like. This is usually something you wanna make sure you pay attention to if you're buying a house or if you're visiting a home that maybe you're looking to purchase. If you see any kind of excavated soil and there's no real clear reason why, it's a good idea to consider getting somebody to toss a camera in there and see what's going on. So we see that we have our baffle in place. The baffle is that little concrete fella right there. Basically, its sole job is to prevent all the debris and floating stuff, the scum, from getting into that pipe and into the drain fields. So the good thing is this one's in place. This is concrete though, so eventually it'll fall off. You can see all that messiness right there on the face of it. That's gonna be the concrete over time just kind of deteriorating and getting all mushy. At some point, it'll just get so mushy that it just falls off on its own weight. And then that's when you just clean off the PVC pipe and slap a new PVC pipe in there to act as a new baffle. So let's go ahead and toss the camera through the pipe, see if we can figure out what the distribution box is and what the drain fields are doing. All right, so we ran the camera through the pipe leading to the distribution box and the drain fields, and we see this little fella right over here. So this is what we refer to as a snake line or an additional clean out. The purpose of this pipe, because of the distance between the tank and the distribution box, you need to have an additional access point in case something gets stuck in the pipe. You can use that to dislodge whatever that stuck object is. Now, the grass that's around it is usually one of those things that homeowners will do to camouflage their sewer pipes, but it's gotten a little bit big. So it's a good idea to make sure you keep these things kind of tight, just because when that does happen, it's really inconvenient for the guy who has to fix it. But as long as you're not emotionally attached to it, that guy will usually just cut most of them out of the way until he can get to what he needs to get to. So you'll usually see these on most modern homes from 1990 to now. You might see it a little bit before that, but not super, super common. Again, these pipes are really just designed as an uh-oh, something went wrong. You're almost never gonna open these up as a homeowner. So let's go look at the distribution box and we'll see what we're working with over there. All right, so we can see that somebody has also dug up this distribution box at some point. Not 100% sure exactly what all the purpose of that was for, but everything's been flowing very smooth so far and everything's been draining the way that it's supposed to. We have one drain field that goes that way, and we have another drain field that goes that way. So basically how this will work is the water will go into the tank. The water will overspill into the outlet line, which will then go to the distribution box. From there, the sole purpose of this distribution box is to slow the water down to allow adequate dispersion of that liquid into the drain fields. Now, this is a very, very standard, non-complicated way of doing this. The drain fields are just going to be trenches, right? They're about 2 to 3 feet wide, 6 to 10 feet deep. I believe the record said each of these is 60 foot long. And basically it works like a French drain. So as water goes into the box, the water will then dissipate into those trench lines that have perforated pipe. And the stone that's in those trenches is just there to open the soil up to allow the wastewater to basically work its way into the soil. That's usually what you'll see for most modern construction in most septic systems nowadays. Older systems would be dry wells. Some more modern systems with maybe some bad soil, you might have a sand mound or some kind of dosage system. But drain fields are super, super common in our area, and you'll almost see them on every house. All right, so that's it, guys. So overall, this system looks like it's in pretty good shape. Now we've had a chance to look at everything, but we determined somebody else has been here before. So that kind of raises a few questions, but nothing super out of the normal. Everything looks like it's doing what it's supposed to do. I hope that you found this useful. Leave a comment below. When you were purchasing a house, did you ever have an inspection done? Did you have anybody look to see what was going on, what was in the ground, what kind of system were you working with? Leave a comment below. I'll always love to hear these stories. If you enjoy content like this, hit that like button, hit subscribe. I have more videos posted every day on the World of Well and Septic. And until next time, guys.